In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make or how to change your annotation so that you can read your dimensions. I figure right now you probably are looking at something very similar to this where you can't even you hardly read. You got to go in so far to read it. So up here on across the top, this ribbon up here, I want you to go to annotation or annotate, sorry. Go to annotate. And first thing is right here in this text block, I want you to hit the little side arrow in the that points to the lower right hand corner here, and it opens up this little tab. You can pick from Romans, and you see what the style is here, to standard, and either one is fine. The only thing you're going to change here is I want you to put in 6 inches. And then that's it. That's all you got to do. And if it hasn't already, make sure you hit apply and close. Next, let's go over to the dimensions, and you have a bunch of different dimensions here, and I will show you what all of these do. What I want you to do again is hit that little down arrow to the right and hit modify. You'll open up this new palette here, and I want you to click on lines to begin with. All right, so dimension lines color, I want you to change that to cyan. In your line type, you can just leave that continuous or by block. Line weight, leave that by block. Extend ticks, extend beyond ticks, I want you to change that to 3. Baseline spacing, I want you to change that to 6. Extension lines, you need to change that to cyan as well. Extend beyond dimension lines, change that to 3. And then offset from origin, I want you to change that also to 3. Okay, I'll leave this just for a minute so you can, if you need to, pause. I'm going to click on symbols and arrows, and the architectural ticks. You can use architectural ticks, you can use oblique, closed fill, and dot, whatever suits you, you may use. I'm not a fan of the architectural ticks. I generally like to use the closed fill on mine. Again, I'm old school and I'm doing it like I would have, if I'm drawing it. Arrowhead size, I'm going to change that also to 6. Center marks, you should click none. Dimension break, change that to 3. Arc length symbol, just ignore that. Linear jog dimension, you can leave that as well. Make sure I've got everything. Okay, go to text. Text style, you can, like again, you can go with Romans or standard. I generally just leave it at standard. Color, I want you to change to cyan. Color or fill color, I want you to change to background. And I'll show you what that does. Placement above, horizontal, above. No, wait a minute, centered. I'm sorry, centered, vertical and centered. Dimension offset from dimension line, change that to 3. And then make sure that you are aligned with dimension line. If you hit horizontal, that's what it's going to look like. We don't want that. We want us to be able to read from the bottom or from the right. Go to fit. I'm just reading over everything to make sure that I'm so down here at text placement, over dimension line with a leader. Primary units, make sure it's architecture. You have 1/16 for precision, diagonal for your fraction format, Do not round off. Zero suppression, 0 feet. If you have 0 feet and 4 inches, it's just going to show you the 4 inches. So make sure that that is clicked there. Okay, we won't change anything in alternative units nor tolerances. I'm going to go through this one more time just to make sure that I haven't missed something. So, yeah, I think everything is still good. Make sure that that is aligned with dimension line. Fill and hit OK and close. So when I do that, you see that this changed and it's much easierly read. So we have that in play for us. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh yeah. So under dimension here, I want you to make sure that that is on dimensions. And remember, we should have, we've changed that color, and I haven't done it on this one because I just started it. But make sure that that is on dimensions as well. Now go over to the multi-leader and hit the down arrow on that, and then hit modify. And once you modify, my wife is looking at me through the door over here. Text style be standard. Keep horizontal. Color, change that to cyan. Let's see. Horizontal attachment would be underline, top line, underline, top line, and then your gap, I want you to put 3. Okay, let's go over to leader format. So you can use, I want you guys to stay with straight for right now. I use spline, and I'll show you what that looks like. But for right now, I want you guys to stay on straight. And color will be cyan. Arrowhead symbol, closed field, make sure that that is 6 inches. And the leader break is 3 inches. Wait a minute, 8, no, I'm sorry, wrong. That's 6 inches as well. All right, leader structure. Since you're using straight, leave that at 2. I'm going to change mine to 4 because I'll show you what this does here in just a second. And specify scale should be on 1. After that, click OK and close. So this is what happens when you hit spline, and it gives me, that many different points in which I can, whoops, sorry. And also when you type anything on CAD, it should be capitalized. I'm going to show you what a straight one looks like. I'm just going to give that 1. Whoops. Straight. Now I'm going to change this arrowhead over here to straight. So that's what the straight looks like. That's what the spline looks like. Again, I want you guys just to hang tight with straight for right now. Later, when you get a little bit better, you can change to spline. Now let's talk about those arrowheads a minute. So this is the architectural tick, which is standard. This is diagonal. I tend to prefer this over the architectural tick just because if you get a lot of these, if you're doing a lot of close dimensioning, it can get kind of dirty. This is my preference here, which is the arrowhead, the closed arrowhead. You can use the open arrowhead, or you can use the dot, and that's what those would look like. talk about the zero suppression. This was a dimension that was less than 1 foot, so we're just going to suppress the foot and just leave the inch only. All right, so let's go back over to the home for just a minute. This is where we mostly work off of here. And so if we have a drawing, do a couple of different lines here, like so. If I'm going to, if I just go to the regular dimension, you'll see that when I touch this line, it will automatically dimension that line for me. And that's just an easy way to do it. A lot of times we won't be doing this. We'll be going from one line to a separate line. So I tend not to ever use the sunrise dimension there. So I use the linear. And so the linear, you're going to have to click twice to get that to do right. And they will always be straight. They won't be, sorry, when, so, so even if I click here and I click down here, it will be straight. In other words, it'll be horizontal or vertical. Notice that, you know, you want to have some space here. So if this is not exact and it's down here, then you don't have a break there. You need that break in there. So make sure that you dimension to the outermost part. If I click on this and go down, I can get aligned. So that means it's going to, you know, go with this line here, aligned. Going on further, if I go angular, then if I want to know what the dimension or what the angle between these two lines are, then I click on that and it gives me that angle. Arc length I do not use, radius I do not use, diameter I do use, and so I'm sorry, radius I do use. Okay, so if I want the radius, then I'm going to click on this circle here and it's going to give me the radius, and I can put that outside. And then if I wanted to do the diameter, then this gives me the diameter and I can do it like that. Let's see. I don't use these two. I don't use arc length, orient, or jogged. Just don't use it. All right, so let's say that, well, I've got a bunch of these things here, and I'm going to start off with just a linear dimension line from this point to this point, and I'm going to pull it up to there. If I pull down off of this, I don't have it. So let me go over to Annotate, and I'm going to click on Continue. So it'll drop down. You can have baseline or you can have continue. Click Continue, and then I can come off of this. Now, if I started going this direction, it's going to start with this line. So I may have to go down here and hit Select and click the line that I want to continue off of, and then I can just go down here and continue on between those, and it will put it in the same line as the rest of them. Notice that up here at the top of my favorites, I have continue up here, so I have added that one, as well as the construction line, the spline, and the divide. And I'll explain the divide later. So let me see, let me make sure. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I have a note on here and I want to, you know, add a leader to it. Back over on the home page, if I just go to leader here and drop down, I'm going to say add leader, and I'm going to click on this straight one here, and then I can add another leader to it. Or if I'm on spline, which most of the time I am, then I can add more splines, arrowheads to the text. So we've talked about multi-line text and single line text. Multi-line text, you have to give it a box to start with, and then you can type in it. Again, sorry, you need to always make sure that your caps are on and know how to spell right. Thank God for spell check. If I'm, let's say that I'm doing first floor, I can type in first floor. Then I can go back to this ST here and highlight that and give it superscript. So I can make it look like that. A lot of times also, if I'm in the superscript, which this will open up, I kind of like to make those lowercase in that way, in that fashion. So that's what it should look like. All right, this is always going to be together. All right, it don't matter how many lines. I click on it once, it's all together. Let's go to go over here to single line, and I'm going to type in single line text first floor. All right, so once I'm out of this, all right, I have to, click over here somewhere, or I hit escape, and that takes me off of that. Now, if I click on this one, notice that they're separate. Also, if I go in here to try to highlight this and make it superscript, notice that that field does not open up. So the only way that I can do it in a superscript is make sure that I have multi-line text open. So the other day when we were doing the uh, windows and doors, we were talking about the windows and doors. You can use leader, like I said, and then just take away the lead, or you can use multi-line text and 3068, and you can just highlight that one and make it superscript, and then of course the 8 and make it superscript. Okay, so there you two different ways that you can do that. Again, you can do leader, and then I can take away the remove leader, and then I can change that. One thing I forgot to do is let's go back over to annotate for just a second and go back to the text box. Click on that, and I can't change the color. Why can I not change the color? Cancel. That's odd. Why can't I change the color? All right, I'll find out and I'll get back to you on that. So you can remove leaders, you can add leaders. On the home page, you have to drop down to do that. I'm going to go over, I'll do another video to show you how to do a table. We'll do a table for our window and door schedules. And if you have any questions, send me a text. Thanks, guys.